It's 2017 a.m. on a Tuesday. Jennifer's phone buzzes on the nightstand. An alert from the accounting software. Unauthorized login attempt. By morning, her 12-person marketing agency won't exist anymore. She wasn't hacked by some nation-state actor or sophisticated criminal syndicate. It was a phishing email. One click from an intern checking messages on their lunch break. That's all it took. Jennifer's story isn't unusual. It's becoming the norm, and today we're going to talk about why small businesses have become the #1 target for cybercriminals and what you can actually do about it. Here's the number that should keep every small business owner up at night: 60%. That's how many small businesses that suffer a cyber attack close their doors within 6 months. 60%. Gone. Not struggling. Not downsizing. Completely shut down. The business they built over years, sometimes decades, erased in weeks. And if you think this is still a big company problem, something that happens to Target and Capital One, I need you to hear this next statistic very carefully. 43% of all cyber attacks now target small businesses, not Fortune 500 companies, not government agencies, Main Street. Why the shift? The answer is brutally simple economics. It's easier to rob 100 houses with broken locks than one mansion with armed guards. Big companies have dedicated security teams, firewalls, intrusion detection, 24/7 monitoring. They're expensive to crack. Small businesses, not so much. Think about it from a criminal's perspective. One Fortune 500 breach might take months of planning and still fail. Or you could send 1,000 phishing emails to small businesses and catch dozens. The aggregate payout from those small business hits, often larger than what they'd get from one big whale, and the risk of getting caught, much, much lower. The average total cost of a cyber attack on a small business, $254,445, and that's the average. Some incidents cost up to $7 million. Let me put that in perspective. For most small businesses, that's not a setback. That's everything. The entire value of the company, wiped out in a single incident. But here's what really kills businesses. It's not just the direct costs, the ransom, the forensics, the legal fees, it's the downtime, the complete operational paralysis. Businesses hit by ransomware are paying $53,000 per hour in downtime costs. Per hour. While their systems are locked, the meter is running. 45% of small businesses that suffer an attack experience significant downtime, averaging 22 hours of complete disruption. Do the math. That's over $1 million lost. And those numbers don't capture everything. They don't capture the customers who called and got voicemail for 3 days, the orders that went to your competitor, the reputation damage that follows you for years. According to VikingCloud research, among businesses hit by cyber attacks, over half, 52%, lost more than 5% of their total revenue. 15% lost more than 10%. So what are these attacks actually looking like? Let's talk about the threat landscape small businesses are facing right now, because it's evolved dramatically. Ransomware attacks now account for 37% of all incidents affecting small businesses. That's an 8% increase from just last year. Ransomware isn't just growing, it's industrializing. Criminal organizations now operate like software companies. They have customer service. They negotiate payment plans. It's a business. 29% of small and medium businesses report experiencing a deepfake scheme in the past year. Deepfakes, AI-generated video and audio designed to impersonate your business partners or you. Imagine getting a video call from your business partner, same face, same voice, asking you to wire money for an urgent deal, except it's not them. It's an AI-generated clone. 27% have experienced a customer data breach. 26% hit by ransomware. Another 26% targeted by denial of service attacks. These aren't rare events anymore. But here's the thing that really gets me. The majority of these attacks, we're talking well over 70%, start with a human being making a mistake, clicking a link, opening an attachment, using a weak password. The technology isn't breaking. We're letting criminals walk through the front door because we left the key under the mat. Phishing remains the #1 attack vector. Those emails that look like they're from Microsoft or your bank or a vendor you work with, small business employees click them at alarming rates. And the phishing emails have gotten scary good. AI written, personalized with details scraped from LinkedIn and your company website. No more obvious grammar mistakes or Nigerian prince stories. They know your vendor names, your recent projects. Sometimes they know your kids' names. The personalization makes them nearly impossible to distinguish from legitimate correspondence. So we've established the threat is real, it's growing, and it's targeting businesses like yours. The question becomes, what can you actually do about it? Before I get into specific steps, I want to be clear. Every business is different, and you should absolutely work with a qualified cybersecurity professional to assess your specific vulnerabilities. These are starting points, not comprehensive solutions. First, multi-factor authentication, MFA. If you take nothing else from this episode, take this. Turn it on everywhere. Email, banking, accounting software, everything. MFA blocks the vast majority of credential-based attacks. Even if someone gets your password, they can't get in without that second factor. It's free with most services. There's no reason not to use it. Second, train your people. Human error causes most breaches. A single quarterly training session on phishing recognition can significantly reduce your risk. We're talking an hour, 4 times a year. The training doesn't have to be elaborate. Show people examples of phishing emails. Teach them to hover over links before clicking. Create a culture where it's okay to ask, is this legit, before acting. Third, backups. The 3-2-1 rule. 3 copies of your critical data. 2 different media types. 1 stored offsite or offline. If ransomware hits, you can restore without paying. The offline part is crucial. Sophisticated ransomware can find and encrypt your backups if they're connected to your network. That air gap, that physical disconnection, is your safety net. Fourth, create an incident response plan. Nothing fancy, just a document that answers 3 questions. Who do we call? How do we communicate with customers? And what's our recovery priority order? When you're in crisis mode, you can't think clearly. Having that plan written down, even if it's just 2 pages, means you're not making critical decisions while panicking. Fifth, budget for basic security tools. We're talking $50 to $200 a month. Password manager, endpoint protection. Email filtering. That's cheaper than 1 single hour of ransomware downtime. Look, I know that when you're running a small operation, every expense gets scrutinized, but this isn't about buying enterprise software. These are affordable tools designed for businesses at your scale. Remember that stat from earlier? Small businesses can lose $12,000 to $24,000 per hour during downtime. A year's worth of security tools cost less than a single hour of being locked out of your systems. Now, there is a debate in the small business community about cyber insurance. Is it worth it? The premiums are rising. Coverage often excludes certain attack types. It's a legitimate question. My take. And again, this is where you need to consult with a professional for your specific situation, is that insurance shouldn't replace prevention. But for businesses that can afford it, having that backstop isn't a bad idea. There's also the question of whether to pay ransoms. Law enforcement universally advises against it. Paying encourages more attacks. There's no guarantee you'll get your data back. But when you're facing permanent loss of your customer database, your financial records, everything you've built, some business owners see no other option. It's an impossible position that good prevention can avoid entirely. Here's what I want you to take away from all of this. Cybersecurity isn't just an IT problem. It's not something you can delegate to your nephew who's good with computers. It's a business survival issue. It belongs in the same mental category as insurance, legal compliance, and cash flow management. It's foundational. Let me leave you with this number. In 2024, the average cost of a cyber incident for small businesses was $164,000. 2 years later, it's $254,000. That's a 55% increase. The threat isn't stabilizing, it's accelerating. The tools attackers use are getting better, faster, cheaper, and they've figured out that small businesses are the softest targets. But here's the flip side. The defenses available to small businesses are also getting better and more affordable. You don't need a Fortune 500 security budget. You need discipline and awareness. If you're watching this and you haven't thought seriously about cybersecurity, this is your signal. Not next quarter. Not next fiscal year. Now. Because the 60% that closed, They also thought they'd get to it eventually. Here's your homework. Before this week is over, turn on multi-factor authentication on your 3 most critical accounts: email, banking, whatever software runs your operations. That's it. Start there. Then, next week, have a 10-minute conversation with your team about phishing. Show them one example. Create a quick reporting process. Small steps. Consistent progress. That's how you build resilience. And if this kind of thing interests you, these signals that actually matter for running a small business, hit subscribe. We put out new episodes regularly, breaking down the numbers and trends that affect your bottom line. Jennifer's story, the agency owner from the beginning, her business didn't survive. 12 employees lost their jobs. A decade of client relationships gone, all because of one clicked link. But here's the thing, Jennifer's story doesn't have to be your story. The defenses exist. The tools are affordable. The knowledge is available. What's missing for most small businesses is simply the urgency to act. Consider this your wake-up call. The 60%? They didn't think it would happen to them either. Until next time, stay alert, stay protected, and keep building something that lasts. Remember, this content is for informational purposes only and is not financial advice.